Did you know a man named Methuselah lived 969 years? His story stretches from the Garden of Eden to the global flood, through the birth and fall of mankind. According to Judeo-Christian mythology, Adam and Eve, the first humans, inhabited Eden, an earthly paradise. After being expelled for disobeying divine commands, they had two sons, Cain and Abel. Cain, the firstborn, succumbed to envy and murdered his brother Abel, becoming the first murderer. Adam and Eve, grieving, received a new son, Seth, whom God regarded with special favor. Seth was blessed with a long life and became the patriarch of a righteous lineage. Methuselah, whose name evokes the image of a warrior with his spear, was the son of Enoch, a man whose life transcended earthly existence and a direct descendant of Seth. According to ancient writings, Enoch was 65 years old when he fathered Methuselah. Enoch was a man who walked with God, and according to the Bible, was taken by the Lord without experiencing death. The relationship between Enoch and God marked Methuselah's life from birth. Edna, his mother, was a woman whose kindness and wisdom were known to all in her community. In his parents' lap, Methuselah grew up, learning to live righteously and communicate with the divine. In those days, mankind still walked close to God, and the patriarchs lived for hundreds of years, guiding their families with wisdom and fear of the Creator. From birth, Methuselah was blessed with an extraordinarily long life, a gift bestowed by the Almighty. As he grew up, he learned from his father Enoch, a righteous man who walked with God, sacred teachings, and the importance of maintaining righteous behavior in a world increasingly plagued by evil. "My son, fear God and turn away from evil," Enoch used to tell Methuselah. "Walk in his ways and not be seduced by the world's temptations." Methuselah listened attentively to his father's words, engraving them in his heart and mind, for he knew that one day he would have to pass on that wisdom to his descendants. Methuselah's land was a place of beauty and contrasts, vast expanses of wilderness and emerging cities where humanity explored the limits of its creativity and ambition. Although evil was beginning to spread, Methuselah stood firm in his integrity, an example of hope in the midst of growing darkness. The years passed, and Methuselah's life stretched further than any human being had ever experienced before. As generations came and went, he remained, an unchanging pillar in a rapidly changing world. According to ancient records, at the age of 187, Methuselah had a son named Lamech, who in turn fathered Noah, who would later play a crucial role in world-shaking events. The genealogy of Methuselah is recorded in the book of Genesis. In addition to Lamech, Methuselah also had other sons and daughters, although the Bible does not provide many details about them. With a heart overflowing with fatherly love, Methuselah focused on raising his son with the same values and teachings he had received from his father. Every day was an occasion to pass on ancestral wisdom, molding in Lamech a solid character and unalterable faith. As Methuselah grew older, his wisdom and understanding of God's ways deepened. He had witnessed the early days of humanity when humans walked in close communion with their Creator, but he also witnessed how evil and corruption spread like a dark stain over the face of the earth. "Father, the world seems to grow darker every day," Lamech said to Methuselah. "How can we keep our faith amid so much wickedness?" With patience and wisdom, Methuselah replied, "My son, we must trust in God's mercy but also fear His judgment. Walk in righteousness and teach your children to do the same, for times of trial will come." As the sands of time slipped through the clock of his life, Methuselah became a revered elder, respected for his unprecedented longevity and unwavering devotion to God. His life was a living testimony to the grace and power of the Creator, and his influence spanned generations. As the world around him plunged deeper and deeper into darkness, Methuselah shone as a beacon of faith and righteousness, guiding his family and the few remaining righteous in those turbulent days. As the days drew to a close, Methuselah felt the weight of his years on his shoulders. He had witnessed so many changes, so many falls and resurrections of mankind, that his soul felt weary. During this darkness, a ray of hope shone through his grandson Noah, a righteous and just man who walked with God. Methuselah, aware of the divine designs, trusted that Noah would be the chosen instrument to preserve life on earth. Following the instructions of the Highest, Noah built a gigantic ark capable of housing his family and representatives of every animal species. Methuselah gave him support and guidance, sharing his wisdom accumulated over the centuries. Although his time on earth was about to end, Methuselah found comfort in knowing that his lineage would continue to be faithful to divine designs. However, his faith in God and his courage to remain faithful never wavered. She watched as Noah finished the ark, obeying every divine instruction with diligence and devotion. When the time came, waters began to gush from the depths of the earth, and the floodgates of the heavens opened. The rain poured down relentlessly, flooding everything in its path. Methuselah, now the oldest man on earth, watched with sad eyes as the world he had known was submerged under the waters of the flood. He knew that this was God's judgment on a corrupt and stubborn humanity. Amid the chaos and destruction, Noah and his family took refuge in the ark, taking with them the animals God had commanded to be preserved. Methuselah watched them embark, his heart filled with a mixture of hope and regret. Through Noah and his family, life was preserved, and the seed of faith planted by Methuselah germinated once again, bearing fruit in a renewed world. Then, according to ancient accounts, Methuselah breathed his last, his long life coming to an end in the same year that the flood began. Some suggest that his death may have been a sign of impending divine judgment, marking the end of one era and the beginning of a new one. As the waters covered the earth, sweeping away all traces of life except for those on the ark, Methuselah departed this world, leaving behind a legacy of unchanging faith and obedience to God. As the ark drifted away, rocked by the raging waves of the flood, Noah looked up to heaven and whispered a prayer. At that moment, he saw a flock of white doves flying toward the horizon, a symbol of hope and peace. In his heart, Noah knew that humanity had a second chance and that Methuselah's legacy of goodness and wisdom would live on forever. This video has been created for Mythology. Thank you for joining us on this journey.